When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Warning, creators of this game do understand the subject matter may be offensive to some, but they do honor the families and people that have been affected by these real-life tragedies that these individuals have caused. Want to play a game?
Oh, yeah!
Lover of true crime?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we got an interesting game for you to check out.
Wow.
With the mashup of influences such as horror movies, collecting cards, and RPGs.
What?
Led to giving birth to an incredible creation of this game, Killers, the card game.
You are all my children now.
This game is a collectible trading card game featuring some of the most infamous killers, with tidbits of trivia on the back of each card to help you learn some insight to each criminal.
Who the hell are you?
Let's not forget, during the game, cops will be chasing you and these criminals.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
However, check out their website listed through all social media today, which can be found under Killers, the card game.
Am I on the internet?
I want to play a game.
Hi, this is Gina Powers, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
In a little town just outside of Fargo, old timers sipping coffee at a Castleton cafe, and as the sun comes up in the
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this next guest has a new single out that is something special. The Great Divide is an upbeat tune with its infectious groove that has an inspiring message to share and will speak to the hearts everywhere and to all of them, exactly, I should say, as it is a song with substance and definitely an upbeat tune as well. So let's go ahead and welcome Miss Gina Powers. Gina, how are you?
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm great. How are you?
All right. I'm guessing you're in Nashville now, or?
Actually, I am back home in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay, because I was going to mention that. So obviously, you don't hear of a ton of musicians coming from Fargo in that part of the country, but how's things been for you? What's the reception been for the new single? Just what's going on musically and all that as we speak?
Thank you for asking. Well, right now, I've been a songwriter and a performing, entertaining full-time musician and vocal teacher and all of that for quite a long time. It's been what I've done. And I just, I had an invitation from a friend to come down and visit Nashville. I'd never been, although I'm a huge fan of country music and have been all my life. I'd never had the opportunity. I went down and I discovered a network of friends that was beyond anything I ever imagined. And it was lovely. And I've connected with a lot of songwriters and done a lot of the songwriting rounds with singing on Broadway and doing all of that and having a great time working with so many different musicians. And so I've taken that knowledge, that experience that I've been doing for the last 2 years, actually, and come home to North Dakota because it's it's hot down there in the summer, you guys.
It's hot right now on the East Coast. It's been high 80s, early 90s for 10 days or so. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm really enjoying right now, currently, last night, for example, I had a great gig in a little town here in North Dakota. They had an art in the park kind of music in the park night. And I've been doing those types of events and I've been playing with my full band as well that I have and just doing a lot of different things, acoustic shows, full band shows, covers, my original work, and continuing to write and record.
So why don't I go ahead and put The Great Divide in right here for people to hear and decide for themselves on what they think.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
In a little town just outside of Fargo, old-timers sipping coffee at a Castleton cafe. And as the sun comes up in the heart of old Chicago, Lou Mitchell's baking donuts like he does most every day. I sing my songs from town to town, and one thing I have found, everyone is different, but we stand on common ground. And this whole country's my home, no matter where I go. From the big sky on the prairies to the crowded city roads, we got family ties and American pride. Even if we don't see eye to eye, we can find a way across this great divide. As I make my way past the lakes in Minnesota, in the distance I can see those stripes and stars, and they wave the same as they do in Arizona. And I know I'm still proud of who we are. And to my left and to my right, people trying to live their life. We see each other with our eyes, but the heart is where we all unite. And this whole country's my home, no matter where I go. matter where I go. Busy streets and scenic byways to places no one knows. And we got a family ties and American pride. And even if we don't see eye to eye, we can find a way across this great divide. Find our way across this great divide. Find our way.
So, coming out of the Great Divide, and I found this interesting when I was doing my prep work and all that this morning, and you actually co-wrote this song with a gentleman I know, Dave, who's a singer-songwriter himself. He was in the radio industry. People are familiar with Dave that listen to the show. So I'm sure he'll have you on as well. You know, the Great Songwriters Connection, I believe it's called. Dave will kill me if I screw that up. But
Let me tell you, Dave Lenahan is a pro. He's a pro in all the ways, and he's also a really good human being. He's all the
Yes.
things that you would want to have in both a friend and in a colleague. Very clever writer, very intentional. It's been such a joy. I've learned, one DJ asked me, what could you say you've learned from him? And I said, I don't even know how to say what I've learned from him, because it's just such a pleasure to work with him. I feel like I'm a better writer for having done so. So when I was first envisioning the song, as I was driving along and the song kind of came to me, it was knowing his heart and where he's at in his heart. I just knew he was the right person to bring it to, and that so I brought this song to Dave on purpose, and I'm so glad that I did. We really worked hard to make sure that the song, that we could get a song that would be received, or we could at least hope as much. We worked really hard to make sure it was received as intended, which really is a call for unity. So working with Dave was a pleasure and an honor. And I and we've got other stuff too. We've written some other things, and we'll continue to write. So yeah, it was the beginning of a great relationship as well.
absolutely. And obviously people heard with the upbeat tune, with the infectious groove, but inspiring message. Certainly does have or I should say, it has a wonderful blur between Americana, pop, rock, soul, the whole deal. And a little kiss of smoking guitars and banjo icing on top of the cake. But you mentioned about being inspired for the song during a drive. You were going from, the way I understand, Fargo to Nashville when you noticed garrison-sized flags, and that kind of clicked the light bulb off for you, correct?
It did. I'm a veteran of the United States Coast Guard. I served in the early 90s.
Thank you very
when I
much.
was young. Absolutely. It was my pleasure and my honor. And I've always been a patriotic individual. But I will say that it just seemed like there had been an absence of flags around. And the flag just was starting to had started to feel like I don't know. It didn't feel that same beautiful way it once felt. It wasn't it was starting to feel like it didn't really represent anybody anymore, kind of, in a way. And so here with this kind of a thing going on just in our country, where we're just struggling. We're struggling to get along. We're struggling to come to the table and get along. It's been a real challenging time for us as an American family. And as I was driving along, I was kind of feeling a little displaced myself, because I had been traveling back and forth from Nashville to Fargo, like I said, for a long while. And I put on almost 50,000 miles on my car in just a couple of years. That's how much I traveled. And even though I had a place to be wherever I was, I always wanted or needed to be someplace else. I started to feel kind of almost homeless, if that makes sense. And one
I'm
day,
gypsy
as
like
I was
myself,
driving,
so
you understand what I mean, right? Because when
Yeah.
you're just traveling a lot, it's like, I might be in Nashville and I need to be here, but I really want to be home for this thing or that thing, or anyway. So So as I was driving along on this particular day, it just struck me because I started noticing and seeing these flags, and I hadn't seen them in a while. And there were all these beautiful garrison-sized flags, you know, like you'd mentioned, over the car lots, the big ones, the big giant ones that you can see for miles and miles. And it just occurred to me, wherever I see that flag, I'm home. And so, you know, having that experience of recognizing that that flag is a symbol of home and family, and it means something, and it's important, and it's special, and it has a legacy, and it has its triumphs and its challenges and all of those things, but it is ours. It is our home as American family. And I started thinking that I meet a lot of people all over the United States, from all over, and we have more in common than we have not in common. That's just a fact. And at least that's been what I've learned. That's my perspective. And I don't think I'm alone in that. And so that was the concept. I took out my voice recorder, and I just sang, you know, a little line, the hook in "This whole country is my home, no matter where I go," and a couple little lines and ideas. And I took the song to Dave, and I told him what inspired it, and we got to work. And this is what we came up with. We wanted to create a song that was available. And I appreciated so much when you said, and this is credit to John D. Willis, who produced this track. He is a phenomenal producer. I'm so honored to work with him. He's an award-winning producer. He's worked with so many wonderful artists. But he asked right off the hop, what genre is this? And I said, I want it to be as accessible to as many people as possible. And he put his craftsmanship into it. He really, truly is a songsmith. And he created, he took what we had envisioned, and he made it. He brought it to life. So it's definitely a team effort, and he deserves full credit for the awesome banjo and the smoking guitars. Nice. So thanks for noticing that it's multi-genre. It is.
I appreciate. Yeah, if it's good, it's good. Yeah, music. And how would you compare this song with some of your other singles that you released, like "Till I Get Through the Night" or "Mississippi Burning," etc.?
Okay, so "Mississippi Burning," "Until I Get Through the Night," and "Not Anymore." Those were the first 3 releases that I put out when I was signed to the Jerry Foster, award-winning songwriter Jerry Foster. He's a phenomenal songwriter. And I was fortunate to be signed to his label, and I put those songs out. Those are under his authorship. And so that's part of the difference, is that those songs came from somebody else's heart and experience. And although I identified with them, it's different than when you're telling the story yourself. So it was a wonderful experience working with Jerry on those songs. But I also then was fortunate that he had enough faith in me to let me go ahead and put 2 original songs out also on his label. So I have "Extraordinary Life" and "All I Ever Wanted" also out on the Humont label. But this particular single, along with the last one I did, co-written with Jan Buckingham, got to put a plug in for her always. She's an amazing songwriter. Those are released independently, and I feel so awesome, and it just feels really good to be able to do that, to put these songs out.
Can you talk about the grind a little bit of being an independent artist?
You know, here's the reality is, being a musician is a grind anyway. It doesn't matter. It's in my view, I think the independent part of it allows you to have more control over what you're doing, what that artist identity is, what direction you want your career to move, and how to go about that journey. I think for me, it's the truth is, if you have a label behind you with a big team, they take a lot of the responsibilities off of your daily back, so that you can focus on, performance and on writing and recording. That isn't the case when you're an indie. You're everything. You are the administrative assistants. You're the promoter. You're the booker. You're the marketing specialist. You are the social media person. You respond to all your comments. and all of your messages and all of those things directly. Oftentimes a lot of us independents do. But here's the beauty of it. Look, I'm doing music because I want to put good things into the world. And being in an independent role allows me to go to the audience directly. And I can talk to them and connect with fans and get to know people and get to understand the experience. So that's the difference. I think that, you know, when I write original music and I put that out, that's my story. That's my perspective. Or, you know, a story that I'm trying to tell along with co-writers often, you know, but when I sang Mr. Foster's song, I just got to sing, you know, just close my eyes and sing fun and beautiful songs. So every type of music is different. Every type of thing is different. Every project is different. And so you put a different hat on maybe, or a different approach for everything you're doing.
So obvious question is, and I'll put links to all the social media and the website and all that as well. But what is next for the rest of the summer for you? What's and into the fall? What do you have vision? What do you want to try to accomplish over the next few months?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm taking a tiny bit of time, not performing as often as I once did. Just trying to take a breath a bit. I'm going to enjoy my son being here, but I do have a residency. He's 14 and I just love spending time with him. But I have a residency in South Dakota that I'm going to be doing. And I will be there with my good friend Kari Marie, who plays piano and is phenomenal, and songwriter and vocalist as well. She'll join me. Further on into the year, I've got some gigs here and there. I'm going to be this Friday. I'm actually going to be in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, doing a little acoustic show. So I've got a lot of that kind of stuff on the go. Starting in September, it's going to get quite busy. However, I am going to be. I think I'll be at Legends in Ohio at the end of July. You know, it's just random things like that. But I'm going to be on tour in September in kind of Midwest. And then I will be touring also December, January, and February down south, probably in the Florida area more. And that's all that calendar and agenda is all being put together now. But what it would be awesome if people would just check out my social media or my website, because I have my dates on there and I'm always adding things. And so that's a great way to find out if I'm going to be near you, or sign up for my mailing list, and I can make sure that you get informed of all of the dates.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep checking the website, the social media, all that fun. Like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But Gina, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure.
Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
Hi everybody, I'm Billy Vera, and you're going to check me out on Crazy Train Radio.